Today on CityCast Nashville, it's time for our Friday News Roundup. This week, I am joined by our executive producer, Whitney Pasterek, and Freddie Angelico, musician at large and man about town. Together, we break down the latest on the fight between Belmead neighbors and Cheekwood, why Metro Council is now including an MNPS audit in its substitute budget, and Freddie gives us a preview of Pride Weekend with his picks for what you should check out around town. Plus, we have got our exclusive members-only segment called Hell Nah. This week, a CityCast Nashville neighbor has a bone to pick with dog owners who aren't cleaning up after their pups. It's Friday, June 26th. I'm Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. The story we cannot stop talking about this week is the fight between Cheekwood Estate and Gardens and its neighbors in Belmead Highlands. A nearby resident has filed an appeal with the Board of Zoning Appeals challenging the parking garage that Cheekwood is building on its property and asking for a stop work order that would stop any future use of the property. Whitney, what on earth is going on?
Marie, it is very hard to talk about this without getting into some deep and probably tick-infested weeds, but I am going to try.
Too soon, Whitney. Too soon.
Marie had a bad experience at Bell's Bend, but she's getting over it.
Do you have Alpha-Gal?
Have you eaten a hamburger since then?
No. TB determined.
Okay, great, cool.
Okay.
Well, so since 1996, Cheekwood has operated under a, quote, non-assembly cultural conditional special use with the city. So this zoning designation is for spaces like Botanic Gardens, which Cheekwood definitely is, but it is not designed to permit large assemblies. So we all are aware that Cheekwood has definitely expanded its programming since 1996, and they definitely do have some large-ish assemblies. And at this point, they're seeing as many as 400,000 visitors in some years. The neighborhood says that the traffic from these assemblies is creating safety and quality of life issues. But this is where I will point out that the man who filed this appeal with the BZA lives literally next door to Cheekwood on property that he purchased from Cheekwood. So is everybody with me so far?
With you.
Okay. The parking garage. Cheekwood has used Warner Park's property for parking for decades. It's those gravel lots that you park on when you go to there. But that arrangement is going to expire in 2027. So this is why they are building a parking garage on their own property, which when it's completed, it will actually have about 60 fewer parking spaces than they currently have right now. Thoughts, comments, questions?
Well, I love this parking garage because it's one of a kind. It's super fancy and will be underground. It's not going to be like the beautiful Nashville Zoo parking garage that I also am super into. I love parking garages. I really miss the library parking garage. But this one...
I was wondering when that was going to come up. This has been Marie's Parking Garage Corner.
You got it. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. But this one, underground. Let's see if it gets built.
I mean, who knows? But there are two more things worth bringing up here. The first is that Cheekwood has no access from Highway 100, which is the main road down there. So in order to get to Cheekwood, folks currently have to drive into the neighborhood or into Percy Warner Park to get there. Now, they are far from the only people driving in that neighborhood. The golf course in Percy Warner Park also gets a crap ton of traffic. There's a whole metro planning study about this, as does just the park itself. People go there to hike, to view nature, to mountain bike. And this brings me to other people who are mad. So last year, this study from Metro suggested that a main access road be built on the southern edge of Cheekwood and the northern edge of Percy. And this pissed off specifically the mountain bikers, because they say if the city builds this road, it will cut through their very nice mountain biking trails. Secondly, I'm telling you, this is like this. You just go down the drain with this whole one. Secondly, last year.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the swan ball.
Shh, Freddie, Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
The people most upset, though, about the proposed road are the family of Luke Lee, who is the man who originally owned the Percy Warner land and gave it to the city for, quote, public park purposes. His family says that if the city builds this access road, they will cancel the deed to the whole park. So that's bad. And then there's one more factor here. Freddie, go on ahead.
The swan ball.
We mostly ignored this kerfuffle when it happened because it was hard to explain and we aren't in the right tax bracket to care. But the Swan Ball was the major fundraising event for Cheekwood for like 60 years. But then the organization and Cheekwood got into a legal fight over who owns the name and like the mailing list and the donors and all that kind of stuff. And that resulted in a new Swan Ball group being split off and shifting their fundraising to Friends of Warner Parks. And this is relevant to this story because the same attorney who represented the Swan Ball versus Cheekwood is now representing Jackson Moore and the Belmead Highlands neighbors versus Cheekwood.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, Freddie, you work in the music industry. You know drama. What are your feelings about all of this?
Not only do I know music industry drama, I would describe myself as an honors graduate at the School of Metro-related drama.
Would you like to give anyone context for that remark?
Listen, just go ahead and give Metro Arts a Google and see if anything comes up.
Freddie was the chair of Metro Arts during that, we'll call it a debacle.
Okay, so I have two thoughts. I think it's a little alarmist to say that this is an existential challenge to Cheekwood. They have a lot of money, but it sure got people's attention. So hard to argue with the method if that's what you need to get. Related to my studies at the School of Metro-related drama, I know full well that there is always more to a story like this. But I also know that a lot of times these conflicts point to bigger, more structural issues. And in this case, I think it's pointing to our over-reliance on cars and all of our continued tendency to accommodate them as individuals and as a city. I am also for working within the real world, and the real world has cars. At a certain point, I hope that Cheekwood as a private entity and Metro as a public one can get creative about how we can incorporate public transportation into solutions here.
Right. Because there's really not a way to get there via public transportation at this point.
Yeah. And it all makes sense based on everything that we have right now, that they would want an access road through Percy Warner and that they would want a parking garage. That is how people are getting to Cheekwood. But that's also the fundamental problem.
And look, I understand people having traffic crawling all over their neighborhood on their tiny, skinny streets. I live in East Nashville. I know that Belmead likes to keep to themselves, but their roads are still connected to the roads in the rest of the city. And it's just part of living in a neighborhood, especially if you bought your house a literal stone's throw away from Cheekwood.
Well, I cannot wait to see how this unfolds. Folks at home, if you want to take a side, Cheekwood has a Save Cheekwood petition on change.org, or you can go visit the Belmead Highlands Neighbors for Safety page at bmhsafety.org and see the PDF of their appeal. And a quick update on the other big story in town lately. The Nashville Scene reported that DC Blocks, the company who plans to build a data center next to the zoo, met with Mayor Freddie O'Connell in February to discuss the project, and his office advised them to talk to the zoo before they move forward. In March, the mayor's office declined to offer DC Blocks any incentives for the project. This all seems good, right?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. DC Blocks did not meet with the zoo. Who learned about this the same way the rest of us did? When the Nashville Business Journal reported on the project.
Come on, man.
That is wild. And you don't mess with the zoo. That's what I got to say about that.
You think that the people surrounding Cheekwood are powerful.
Yes.
But I love this quote from the Nashville Scene Story. Jeff Uphughes, who is DC Block's CEO, appeared on a podcast, the Let's Get Digital podcast on May 13th, and said, quote, "When we now go into communities, people respond to the fact that we're transparent from the beginning. We answer questions without technology speak. We meet person by person, group by group, town hall by town hall. We invest the time." Well, that sounds like a lie.
More drama. Freddie? That's your beat.
That's my beat. My beat is drama. Well, they got told the zoo was right there. It's still there.
Yeah, zoo's not going anywhere. But this is the same crap we heard from frickin' Boring Company with the tunnel. They're like, we've had over 200 community meetings and we've spoken to leaders in all the neighborhoods and we've interacted. I have seen nothing still. And now DC Blocks is like, we invest the time. Well, you didn't. You haven't.
Just circling back to the mayor, it is kind of interesting, though, that he did have a conversation with them earlier and then came out with his executive order where some people really were excited about. But maybe had he come up with that sooner, we wouldn't be here today.
He also met with the Boring Company before they started a digging.
The mayor be mayoring. Not a political journalist, but and there you go. All right. Step into a summer filled with music and history at Andrew Jackson's Hermitage. You do not want to miss Country Night on June 26th, the final concert in the inaugural Roots and Rhythms Americana Concert Series presented by Wilson Bank and Trust. Enjoy an unforgettable evening of live music, local food and drinks, and community on the historic grounds of the Hermitage. Bring a blanket or lawn chair and settle in for performances by Elizabeth Cook and Tim Easton. Hosted by Jesse Scott of WMOT Roots Radio 89.5 FM. The evening will also feature a special presentation honoring legendary songwriter and 2026 Roots and Rhythms Legacy Award recipient Steve Earle, with the award accepted on his behalf by his sister Stacey Earle. Doors open at 5 p.m. with music beginning at 7. Guests of all ages are welcome, and children 13 and under get in for free. General admission tickets are $20 or $10 for Hermitage members. VIP tickets are also available for $50 and include access to a private lounge, dedicated bar, and priority seating. You do not want to miss the final night of Roots and Rhythms Americana Concert Series. Get your tickets today at thehermitage.com. Looking for a fun way to celebrate the 4th of July? Adventure Science Center has got you covered with Red, White, and Boom happening July 4th from 6:30 to 10 p.m. Celebrate the 4th of July with a night of science, sparkles, and skyline views at Adventure Science Center. You'll get after-hours access to the exhibits, themed hands-on science activities, live science demonstrations, a DJ, outdoor games, and one of the best views of Nashville's fireworks from the Science Center lawn. Hungry? Bring your own picnic or grab a bite from Daddy's Dogs, the Science Center's new Strata Cafe, or Vega frozen yogurt treats. There are 4 ticket options to choose from, including event-only admission or admission paired with a special show in the planetarium, featuring showings of Night Watch, the Pop Till You Drop Laser Show, and Laser David Bowie. And here's a bonus, parking is included with your ticket. To learn more and get your tickets today, visit adventuresci.org. The Metro Nashville Public School Board voted to approve its new operating budget Tuesday night after a long and very tense meeting. Although the $1.437 million budget increased by 4% for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, the district will need to spend $550,000 to pay for a performance audit that was required by the Metro Council's substitute budget. To cover that cost, the board voted to withdraw funding from a proposed new pre-K early learning center.
Oh, dear.
M&PS Budget Committee Chair Berthina Nabah McKinney expressed frustration at the performance audit, telling the Banner it demonstrates a lack of trust from Metro Council. It blindsided all of us as a board. She said, to this day, we still don't have a clear explanation of what the goals or objectives are.
Yeah, this audit has really stirred up some tension even within the Metro Council. Councilmember Sherry Weiner from District 22, she co-sponsored this budget amendment along with Jason Spain, and that's what created the performance audit. And in a recent newsletter, she explained, quote, "This is not about criticizing our schools. It's about accountability and stewardship of taxpayer dollars. Given the size of Metro's investment in MNPS, I believe a comprehensive audit is both reasonable and responsible." I don't disagree. I think all departments should be audited. Let's also audit parks and the police and Office of Emergency Management. Let's audit them all. Where's the money going? But the thing that kind of gets under my skin about this a little bit is that Metro Council's substitute budget cut $1.5 million from MNPS to cover other programs and services that weren't originally in the mayor's budget. So to go to MNPS and be like, you can find the money, we found the money for the substitute budget, so ruffle around in the couch cushions and find your money. Well, you took schools' money to pay for the others, so schools already has less money. And I did appreciate, I guess, Councilmember at Large Quinn Evans Siegel's post on Blue Sky, where she essentially blamed the grocery tax cut for the demise of the pre-K center, saying, quote, "Let me be clear, everyone is saving $6 a month, and for that we had to cut an effing daycare."
We know Nashville is experiencing a child care crisis. So, Freddie, as we mentioned earlier, you used to be the chair of the Metro Arts Board. So you know a little bit about funding and all the politics involved in that. What's your take here?
I am not super plugged in to MMPS. It's not my beat. I don't have kids. I think it's hugely important to fully fund it, but it's not something I pay super close attention to. My reaction to what Whitney has just said and to your question is just that it highlights the interdependency of all of these complex systems with each other. Things like the grocery tax don't say MNPS in them, but they do affect MNPS. And it is really, really hard to balance all of those interests. It probably is, like Whitney said, for the best that departments get audited. Are there other departments that are wiling out considerably more? From my perspective, yes. But you have to, but that's the thing is that it's just really hard to distribute that energy evenly, and everything affects everything else. This is hard stuff.
And there are a lot of people right now asking questions about this grocery tax cut, right? It's supposed to save families $6 a month when all is said and done, but that's people who spend like a lot of money on groceries will save $6 a month. So I spend, let's say, $100 a month on groceries. I'm not getting $6 from that back. So I think there are definitely a lot of voices in town starting to wonder if the juice here is worth the squeeze. Like if you can afford to spend $2,000 a month on groceries, you probably don't need $6 back.
Right.
Kind of sounds like our vouchers. And finally, we've got another report back on what happened during Winter Storm Fern when Nashville Electric Service left some customers in town without power for more than 2 weeks. This new study, which was commissioned by NES, found that their failure to secure outside crews ahead of Winter Storm Fern may have extended power outages by as many as 5 days. It also found that the utility lacked emergency planning procedures and failed to adequately communicate with customers.
They could have paid me a lot less money, and I could have told them that.
Good thing we had this report.
I mean, yeah. I will say that the mayor has issued a statement about this, basically saying, like, yay, accountability. He has also appointed his replacement for NES board chair, Ann Davis. So Ann Davis is a longtime attorney here in Nashville who is also married to former Nashville Mayor Carl Dean. And she is concluding her term. Mayor O'Connell has nominated attorney Jazz Boone to succeed Ms. Davis on the board. I think a lot of people were wondering, should perhaps not the entire board be replaced in the wake of all of this? So much talk about boards today.
It's a sexy topic, I can tell you what. Everybody loves to talk about boards.
Who bears responsibility for what NES does? Is it Teresa Broyles Applin, NES CEO's fault that they didn't have emergency planning procedures or call for help earlier? Or is it the board's fault for not overseeing Teresa Broyles Applin?
Oh, man. I got feelings on that, which is that boards, in my experience, are best when they set policy, not when they conduct oversight. If you're not in the office, how can you know what all's going on? Something that stuck out to me in the preliminary report was how it described NES as relying on institutional knowledge. The board may not know that if they're not in the day-to-day operations of the thing. So it's like the board should, this is a real generalization, but the board should set the policy and then the agency should enact it.
And it's true. A lot of the people who are on these boards really don't have any institutional knowledge of what's going on or even necessarily knowledge of the subject. I looked up the names of the other board members. One of them is like a big muckety-mucket caliber collision. They fix my car when I get hit.
My primary skill set is like banjo playing, and I was in charge of Metro Arts, okay? They're not always sending their best and brightest to these boards, myself included.
The city thanks you for your service, Freddie.
For as hard as it was, I did love it, and I did learn so much. But boards are made up of people, and people are people. Just like my microphone is my microphone, and my glasses are my glasses. And everything is or is not ice cream.
Good news!
Nashville Pride is tomorrow. One of the most joyful celebrations of the year starts with the Pride Parade at 10 a.m. on Broadway. And this year's Grand Marshals are Krista Supan and John DeValentine, the owners of the legendary lesbian bar Lipstick Lounge. So grab your sunscreen and your rainbow gear and come out and celebrate Pride with us. Our whole team at CityCast Nashville is actually going to be marching in the parade tomorrow, along with our CityCast Nashville neighbors. You can find us, folks, at spot 91. If you want to come line up with us, please do. You can walk with us and show your pride. Then immediately after the parade, the Pride Festival kicks off at Bicentennial Capitol Mall State Park from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yesterday, the Nashville Scene came out with an awesome Your Guide to Pride issue, which we encourage folks to pick up. But a quick rundown of what to expect this year at the one-day festival event. Yes, it is just one day this year, not two. And we'll get into why that is in just a second. But we've got 3 stages where you can see all kinds of performers.
The official headliners this year are queer country favorite Fancy Haygood and pop powerhouse Molly Grace.
And Fancy is bringing a whole bunch of amazing acts on stage, too. So Michelle Branch, Joy Aladakun, Katie Pruitt, Sister Strings.
Also, keep an eye out for sets from Gay Ol' Opry artists, the Rainbow Stage curated by queer music collective RNBW, and then, of course, other LGBTQ plus musicians from across Nashville will be performing. Freddie, you're our music guru. What are some of the highlights?
Okay. I got your Pride schedule. Here we go. Tonight, Molly Martin is performing at Eastside Bowl. Doors are at 7, show is at 8. This is not a Pride-specific event, but Molly is openly queer, so I'm calling it a Pride event. Her new record, Accidental Pop Star, is so good. I have been trying to lean into music that I love as opposed to music I do to make money, and her new record grabbed me by the lapels and gave me something to love instantly. I wish I could go. I have a gig of my own in Idaho, and the Eastside Bowl is not, as of this writing, in Idaho, so I can't.
It's not very accessible, no.
No. It's very sad to me. I wish that I could go because I cannot stop listening to Molly Martin's new record, Accidental Pop Star, and I demand everybody that's listening to this go listen to that. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is QDP. So you can't go on Friday because you're going to see Molly Martin. That's good. But you can go on Saturday. Here's the thing. We are so lucky to have QDP. It is a beacon of hope. It starts after 5 p.m., so it's hard to get me to go. Back when they were doing bands, once in a while I would go because I was playing in the band. But in the event that I am so bullied by my friends that I go to QDP. I feel surrounded by warmth and support. Not all cities are as lucky as we are. Huge shout out to the QDP team for keeping this institution going. It is a labor of love. You can feel it when you are there. You can feel the love when you are there. Even me, a curmudgeon, getting straighter and straighter every day.
Well, if you want to go on Saturday night, there's going to be a performance from the Cowgays, who I am currently obsessed with. They'll be backed by Nashville's own queer line dancing troupe, Lavender Roots. Online tickets for this are currently sold out, so you may need to go and hope for a miracle. But yeah, Brooklyn Bowl, get there or be square.
Furthermore, a drag group called Misfits is performing, and I want to shout out my current favorite drag queen in Nashville, Venus Ann Serena. She hosts an unmissable drag competition at East Room called Drag Supreme. She is so creative, so interesting, but the best thing about her is the way that she builds community with her drag. She is a force, and I, for one, welcome her takeover of the world. And she is performing at QDP with her group Misfits, and you shouldn't miss it. Next up on Freddie's Pride Parade, also not a Pride thing, Sunday, June 28th, Gina Veneer and friends are performing at the Listening Room Cafe at 8:30 p.m. This is not a Pride event, but Gina is queer, so I'm in charge. It's my Pride Parade. We're making it a Pride event. Again, if I wasn't in Idaho, I would be there. What I love about Gina is I have hardly met anyone who is so fully herself. She has always been who she is, and that self-assuredness makes you comfortable when you watch her sing. Also performing in this round will be Summer Overstreet, who's one of the very finest songwriters in town. And her record from earlier this year, The Women of Cheatham County, is not to be missed.
Why is this year's festival only one day and not two like it's been in the past?
The festival had to scale back because corporate sponsors dropped all their support. Remember those halcyon days of like 10 years ago when the minute June 1st hit, every single corporate logo, like AT&T was like, yes, queen. Like everybody just went bonkers with their visible and corporatized support for the LGBTQ plus community. And then, July 1st hits and we're back to our boring logos. But so many of those sponsors have pulled their financial support from Nashville Pride over the last couple of years, thanks to DEI bans and drag bans and concerns about the politics of supporting human beings being who they are. I mean, Freddie, what are your thoughts on this? There are definitely community members saying it's a good thing that it's going to be more local and more intimate.
Oh, that makes sense to me. When I go to those things, I don't go to, I played Pride with Alana Royale one year, and also performing was Lizzo. It was right before Lizzo blew up. I enjoyed Lizzo's show, but I was there to connect with my community in Nashville. I was there to be myself in an environment that I felt comfortable, if a little sweaty. So I personally don't mind if reducing the scope of Pride means we invest more in the incredible talent that we have here.
People come from all across the Southeast, if not the world, to come specifically to Nashville Pride. I tell this story every year, but I tried to register voters at Pride once, and it's very hard to do because people are like, no, I'm from Alabama, I'm from Arkansas, I'm from Kentucky,
Right.
And so long as we're not losing touch with that and the way that it is a safe and accepting place to be in a city.
Yeah. And that goes for so many of our institutions in Nashville, including the bar owned by the Grand Marshals Lipstick Lounge and Chapstick Sports Bar. Every time I go there, I meet people who are there on a pilgrimage from some place where they don't have access to hang out comfortably. And I get to go there for trivia every week on Tuesday at 7:30 with Sky.
Exactly. Yeah, we take it for granted.
Exactly. I know that I'm a Pollyanna about everything always, but these are the reasons that it's wonderful to live in this city. It's wonderful to have access to what we have.
Well, on that beautiful note, it's time for us to get into our weekly segment called Hell Nah, in which we gripe about something that makes the city not wonderful. This segment is only available to CityCast Nashville neighbors. If you are not a CityCast Nashville neighbor, we encourage you to pause the podcast right now and go over to membership.citycast.fm and join. It's $10 a month or $100 a year. You get access to special events like walking with us in pride. Obviously, whoever shows up, we're not turning anybody away. It's pride. The more, the merrier. But we do all kinds of fun stuff with our neighbors, and they also get to listen to us gripe. So now's your chance. Well, this has been great.
Likewise.
Freddie, we're so sorry that you're going to be in Idaho this weekend. We're going to miss you terribly, but thanks for joining us today. We did it, everybody.
Good job.
We did it.
I love you guys.
Happy Pride. Come march with us.
All right. Yeah, and don't forget office hours today. Beer Works 2 to 5. Okay, take care of each other.
Bye, toots. That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. Our executive producer is Whitney Pasterek. Our creative producer is me, Marie Cecile Anderson. Our CityCast Nashville newsletter editor is Margaret Kingsbury, and our theme music is by Prof Jenkins, with additional music by Andy Ellison and Carl Schonbeck from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images. Post-production this week was done by Kyle Neal, with roving support from producer Alyssa Castles. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Nashville newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Doodles!